Today I want to talk to you about some of the crossings that you get in Bedfordshire lace as a follow-up to the last video I did on 6 and 8 pair crossings. I'm just going to put in the 4 pair crossing, generally known as a windmill crossing, first. Then I'm going to look at where you get 5 plaits at 1 pinhole. Not really a 5 plait crossing, but it's 2 plaits in and 3 out. Sometimes it could be 3 in and 2 out, which is worked slightly differently, and I'll cover that. And I'll also look at an alternative 8 pair crossing where you don't want to do the one that I showed you on the last video. So first of all, a windmill crossing. Generally they are 2 plaits coming into the pin, one from the right and one from the left, or it could be 4 petals, 4 leaf tallies coming into a point. So to do a windmill crossing, you have the 4 pairs. I'll just zoom out so you can see the actual pairs of bobbins. You have 4 pairs of bobbins and you pick up a pair of bobbins as if it was a single pair, and we do a cloth stitch. And before you do the last move, you put the pin in. And then you do the last move 2/3 or across and tension it. This, like the other crossings I talked about, enables the plait that's coming from the left diagonally to the right to continue with the same pairs in the same direction, and the one from the right to continue through. This ensures you get a nice neat crossing around the pin. And then you just continue with your plait or your leaf, whichever it is, leaf tally, to go to the next feature within the pattern. This time we have 2 plaits coming into the point where the pin goes and 3 plaits coming out. And the best way to do this, if you've got a pattern where you can do it this way, it's better to do 2 plaits into the point and 3 out. It's not always possible, but to do this we actually do a 6 pair crossing, hanging 2 new pins, 2 new pairs on a temporary support pin in the middle of the 2 plaits that's going to meet. This will mean, as in the plait, the windmill crossing above, your plaits will continue on a diagonal and the new one that you've put in will hang straight down. This again ensures a nice neat crossing. You may remember the 6 pair crossing from the previous video. So again, we space them out a little bit so that you can actually see the pairs. And we're going to pick up each pair in turn according to this sequence as if they were a single pair. So 2/3, 4/5, 4/3, 2/3, 2/1, 4/5 and 6/5. And you can see straight away that you've got the pair still in the middle that's going to continue down. Now carefully taking the tension off the 2 pairs and move the pin into the pinhole. And then finish the sequence. 2/3, 4/5, 4/3, 2/3, 4/5. And again it continues the line of the plaits in the general direction they were originally travelling. Again, tension and plait the first one, plait the middle one first, and this helps to tension it up around the pin and ensures a nice neat crossing. The last crossing I want to look at on this video is another 8-pair crossing. This is an alternative to the one I did in the last video, and sometimes it's more effective to do it this way. This one I've drawn up as alternating plaits and leaves, or leaf tallies. And sometimes you find these in patterns where they're quite small. I know I've drawn it large in this case so that you can see it on the video, but it's quite a confined space they're actually in. Now the first decision you have to make if you've got a parallel line is which side you're going to take the plait across in. And this is a way very often of transferring pairs from one cloth stitch area into another, where you're leaving out on the left and taking in on the right where you need the pairs to feed an area of cloth, or it can be the other way around, and you have to make that decision on the approach to this crossing. The plaits are already done in position, and what I'm actually going to do is basically 2 windmill crossings as I did in the first crossing on the video. I'm going to do the plaits first, put the pin in and finish the crossings and take those out of the way, and then I'm going to work the 2 leaf tallies and do a windmill crossing again around the same pin. This means the plaits are behind the leaf tallies and makes it a much more 3-dimensional crossing and adds 3 dimensions to your lace. It also works much neater if you are in a small confined space and don't want the crossing, the 8-pair crossing, which can be a little bit bulky. So I'm just going to move the left hand leaf pairs out of the way, just over the top of this crossing because that's where they're going to sit, and do a windmill crossing with the plaits. And I can then go on and finish that plait in both directions. And again, the second plait can be finished off. And now I've got to do the 2 leaf tallies. So I make sure that the pairs are over the top, and again push the plait out of the way and work the 2 leaf tallies, which will come into the same point. I'll just work those off camera because they do take a minute or 2 to make each, especially as I've drawn them quite large. I've just made the leaf tallies and I've just placed them temporarily over the pin to be able to support the leaves while I make the second one. Now if you work the right hand one first and put it over, and then the second one on the left, you'll find you won't need to move the pin when you've done your windmill crossing. So windmill crossing again, 2 over 3, 2 over 1, 4 over 3, and if you now notice the pin is in the correct place, so you can just finish the cloth stitch and the pairs are around the pin. And I'll just do the cloth stitch to start the next leaf tally, and you'll then be able to see that this leaf tally is lying completely on top of the plait. And once those are finished, there will be 2 complete layers, one on top of the other. And this makes a very nice neat crossing when you have a confined area. It also does give a slightly raised feel to the leaves on the lace. I hope you found that helpful. Leave a comment if you have, let me know what you think of the video and any suggestions for future videos. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to hear more videos coming soon.